Hi everyone, it's Ashley. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. Guys, I am so excited to be sitting down with you. I have, I think, 3 or 4 crafts I want to get done today, but they are on either the larger and or more complicated side. So I do think that this is definitely going to be a slower video. I think it is going to take us quite a bit of time to get through just the 3 or 4 crafts that I have to get done today. So with that in mind, I do want to show you guys just a few things that I picked up recently on a quick trip to Hobby Lobby, and then we will just go ahead and jump right into crafting. I am going to be continuing my Easter crafting today, as I'm sure you could tell by the thumbnail. So I hope you guys are excited. I have had a very long week with work, and this is my first night that I am able to kind of slow down. I put everyone to bed. Everyone is sleeping soundly, and Mama came into her craft room, and now I'm gonna take a little bit of time for myself, and I am so glad you guys have decided to join me. Let's go ahead and bring in the things I got from Hobby Lobby, and then we'll get started. Guys, when I tell you one of my favorite finds that I have ever found at Hobby Lobby was an exact package just like this. These are A2 size cards. So it is the folded card in envelope. They are A2 size, which is 4.25 by 5.5 inches. And there are 120 in here. So then 240 pieces, because there's obviously one card in one envelope. This was originally $24.99, and this was reduced to $5.62. You can see right there. If you find something like this cheap somewhere, I love picking up pre-made card bases. It makes going in with your Cricut and creating a card so fast and easy. It is absolutely one of my absolute favorite card making hacks. So I was super excited to find this. Now this is the same exact one as the other one I found. However, it is different colors, right? So this is like a really kind of mauve. Well, actually, let's go ahead. Listen, honestly, since we're here, right, ladies, we have a little time. Let's just go ahead and open them and see what we got. So starting from the far left here, this is the first color. This is I would say like very kind of gray purple. It is definitely purple. However, it is not kind of obnoxiously purple. It's very actually kind of neutral. I love it. This is like a very cool kind of color palette. So just imagine everything in here is very cool in tone, okay? So next up we have this really pale purple. Now this is once again cool tone, and it's somewhere between a purple and a pink. Now I know with my cameras these are not going to come up true to color, so I'm going to try to describe them as best as I can, but just kind of know where I'm going. Now I would say this one is very close to that first one, however just a little bit lighter, and as where the first one was more purple leaning towards gray, I would say this one is more gray that leans towards purple, right? So I would find this one a little more neutral, however still definitely kind of on that lilac spectrum, I would say. Next, we have this color, which I love because I personally am a huge fan of like navy blue. So this is basically a navy blue. However, I would say it's just a very cool tone navy. It's very kind of neutral. It's not harsh at all. One of my absolute favorite colors, and I was so happy to see it in the pack, a very pretty mint color. This is actually looks like a very close to like their mint vinyl, which I told you guys in my last video is my absolute favorite mint vinyl I found. So that card base is going to be a favorite of mine. Next, we have this kind of plum color. I would say this is almost like a wine because it is cool tone. It's a little muted, so pretty. And then next, these two here on the side are definitely pink, kind of going into coral maybe. So these are the last two, and I'll just kind of bring them out together because I feel like these are the same tone of each other. This is just a lighter tone of this one. So once again, this is maybe like a salmon, but a very, very kind of on the brownish end of that. And then this one comes in and is just a tad bit even browner than the first one. They definitely do have a hint of pink. However, I think like depending on what pattern you put with it, these could definitely pull kind of more neutral. So I am loving those. Okay guys, so here is my first item. I am over the moon with this find. Again, I paid $5.62 for this. So excited. Now, in that same area, my particular Hobby Lobby had a lot of paper crafts on clearance, which, you know, I am all for. This is another set of pre-made envelopes and cards. So this is the same exact size. They are A2 sized. It's 50 cards and envelopes. So this was originally $10.49 and I paid $2.24 for them. So just like the other, since we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. Okay, so first off, we have this really, really pretty floral pattern. I love it. It has some gold foiling detail, which is beautiful. Something with more like of a floral pattern like this, I would put just more of like a sentiment on it, and it's beautiful. Next up, we have this really kind of neutral, just greenery on a linen type of background. Beautiful. Next up, we have this one here, which gives you just such an amazing opportunity to put a sentiment or something in the middle, and look how beautifully like that would just bring a card together. It has this beautiful gold detailing on the little flowers, and then like these little white little polka dots at top, which I love, and then kind of like a watercolor base. I will definitely be using that ASAP. Again, just kind of more of a neutral. This is greenery. For me, this is something that I typically wouldn't necessarily be drawn to. However, I think that like since I got it in the pack rate, I think that there will be a time that something will call for something like this and I'll have it. Although it's not something I probably will reach for right off the bat. Now next we have this gold foiling kind of plaid. I absolutely love this. This is like such a neutral to me, and it just gives you such a beautiful base. You can put absolutely anything you can imagine on top of this, and honestly, just about anything is gonna look beautiful, and it's gonna look like you put so much effort into it. Okay, next up, this is another just great blank one. How beautiful is this wreath? Again, it has that gold foiling detail, and look how pretty. How easy it would be to just like put the monogram of the person you're writing a little card to in the middle of this, and there you go, a personalized like thank you card or note card for cents and maybe 5 minutes of your time. I cannot wait to use this. Again, another one that is super beautiful. It gives you a great space to really just customize this for what you are gifting it for. Ooh, now this one is definitely different for me. It is a black base with white and kind of grayish polka dots. Like I said, this is something that is definitely different. However, I am so excited to see this. And as soon as I saw it, I had a very particular idea. So I kind of want to like just see it out because I think that I just had a stroke of genius. We'll see. Next up, just like the gold foiling plaid, this is another one I think just gives you a great kind of neutral background. Now this one I would say is a little more busy than the plaid itself. So I would probably go with something a little more simpler on something like this. However, so beautiful. And also guys, like, don't forget, I got this whole pack for $2. At the end of the day, if somebody like stops over or it's somebody's birthday and I forget, I'm honestly gonna go into my drawer. I'm gonna take this card out just like it is. I'm gonna grab the envelope and I'm gonna write the sweetest, most heartfelt message to whoever I'm gifting it to inside. And it's still a beautiful card, right? Not everything has to be done, right? Sometimes things can just be, and these are great to have on hand just to have them. So this is another great base. I absolutely love this. I think it is so cute. Okay guys, so that is all of the patterns in this little set. I love it. For $2, I am so excited to add this to my collection. Okay, so bringing in my first little blank here, I have shown these before. These come in a 3-pack from Hobby Lobby. They just come in a natural wood and they, I believe, are 12 by 12 squares. I have, however, turned it on this side where it has like kind of a lip to it. I gave this a coat of antique wax. And then I painted the inside of my frame. Now, I have said on my channel before, I am not the best painter and I don't love to paint. This right here came out just about as good as I can get it, and I really did like take my time. I spent probably about like 30 minutes today painting a couple blanks, which I like to do when I know that I will use the blank. Like the blank's gonna become reusable for me, right? So I kind of like took 30 minutes today, which is not my favorite thing to do. However, I took the time today knowing that I will reuse this sign over and over again. So I did take the time today to go in and stain it and paint it. And it came out honestly just about perfect for me. There are definitely some mistakes and I'll show you guys that in a second. But all in all, it came out really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start weeding out my design here. Now this is a very labor intensive design, I will admit. It's gonna take me a while to weed. However, like I said, I have been super busy with work. Have not even stepped into my craft room in probably about 4 days. Okay, full disclosure, my computer shut off for some reason, who knows, but we are back. I kind of just, once I noticed, stopped, but I think I noticed pretty quickly, so I am just chugging along here. As I was saying, this is a design that is a little more involved and intricate. However, I've had a really long week with work, so I honestly just wanted to kind of come in and really take some time for myself and craft. I wanted to spend some time with you guys and kind of catch you up. And I also just wanted to create this really beautiful design. I thought that this would make a really stunning piece of art for my home, which for me is important, right? I make decor and I love to make decor, but I also think that there's something really nice in making art and making something that is just really pretty to kind of look at. So when I saw this design, I instantly fell in love with it. And I thought, hey, let's give it a shot. And I have said in a few videos that I am in love with this green color. So I did cut it out of this color. And I thought that it would be a really nice touch for Easter because it is so kind of light and pastel. I think it will fit right in. However, I think it also will transition nicely into spring. So since I am going to spend a little more time on it, I want to be able to keep it up for, you know, a decent amount of time. I am one of those people that it's like, as soon as the holiday's over, I'm kind of over it and I am ready to move on. I'm kind of over looking at whatever decor is up at the time. And I am ready for the new season. So with that being said, I honestly kind of take my decorations down as soon as possible, if not even early sometimes. Like St. Patrick's Day, I haven't really taken anything down. I'm pretty sure I still have everything up. However, I am definitely kind of moving in the direction of putting some Easter things out. So it's not necessarily that I'm like packing a St. Patrick's Day up early. I'm just kind of maybe hurrying it along just a little. Now, the leaves of these flowers have some really, really intricate cuts here. I am going to try to save, you know, a few of them here and there as I can. However, I'm not going to try to save every single one of them. I'm not going to stress myself out over them. I think that whichever ones I save will add a nice detail to the design. I think whichever ones end up getting lost, you will never know that they were ever there to begin with. So I think it will end up being just fine. But, you know, choose to handle that however you like. If you're someone who wants all of those details, then absolutely, you're just going to want to go very, very slowly. Take your time. It's definitely doable, but they are very small, at least on the scale that I have it on, which honestly is not that small. The inside of my frame, I think, measured 11 by 11. So this is a fairly large size I cut this at. And these little details on the flower are still super small. So this, because of the amount of detail it has, is definitely a design that I would only attempt on a larger scale. Like I said, I think the inside of my frame is 11 by 11. So this is probably like size somewhere, I would say maybe around like 9.5 or 10 maybe. And like I said, some of these details are still getting super small. So just be mindful of that. The more detail, you know, kind of the more difficult it is and kind of the larger you need to make it. So I think I'm just going to kind of go through and weed this out. If anything comes to mind, I will let you guys know. Okay, so I think I just about got my first little egg done, and honestly not bad. And you know what? It's like when you look at one little section, you think like, oh my gosh, that looks so bad. Like I missed this little detail, or like I messed up this little spot. But then when you really like step back and take a look at the bigger picture, it is amazing just how pretty like things are. And it just reminds me every single time, like just how critical we are, like when we're looking at just one little area of something, right? But then once you kind of step back and look at the grand picture and kind of the grand scheme of things, it absolutely looks perfect. And I think that is definitely kind of the experience I was having with this egg. So I wasn't exactly sure how this was going to come out as I was weeding it, because like I said, I did lose some details in like some of my flowers, just randomly here and there that I wasn't willing to kind of fight with. But as I kind of look at it as a whole, I love it. I think it just looks so, so pretty. And honestly, I think it's one of those pieces that a lot of the imperfections kind of just add to the charm of it. Some of the elements in this design are getting like super, super small, and they're honestly still weeding so, so beautifully. So I have not one complaint. And let me tell you, with a design like this, it's easy to have a few complaints, right? But so far, so good. Are you guys ready for Easter? How are you doing with your Easter crafting, your spring crafting, if you decorate for spring? I will tell you, I am definitely kind of in the mode and in the mood. However, let me tell you, Easter is coming up a lot faster than I was expecting, which I knew was going to happen just because Easter is so, so early this year. I kind of just knew that I was going to find myself in this situation. And I mean, here we are. Like, it's already what, March 11th or the 12th as I record this video. And I just cannot believe this month is already going so, so quickly. And I feel like every day we get closer to Easter, it's just going to go that much faster, which is okay. But man, oh man, I definitely need to kind of get myself into gear here, because I actually have a ton of crafting to do, like for daughter's Easter basket. I have a lot of decoration that I kind of like want to switch over, and just kind of some things that I want to update and put out for spring. So coming in tonight is definitely, definitely well needed. And I will also say these are like my first two crafts are like my really, really big kind of intricate crafts. So getting these two things off of my to-do list are two huge, huge check marks. So this will definitely help me feel a little bit more prepared as we just kind of chug our way into Easter. I would love to hear what you guys are working on. If you've kind of found anything in Design Space that has really, really sparked your creativity. I know that I have so many cute crafting videos to catch up on, which I am just so excited about. I cannot wait to have a relaxing night in bed and just watch some of my favorite crafters create away. It is one of my favorite pastimes. So bringing in my first blank here, I showed this, it comes in a 3-pack from Hobby Lobby. They just come in like their unfinished wood section, and they are like 12 by 12 inch squares, I'm pretty sure. But I like to use this side here, and it just kind of has like a frame around it. And this side, I believe, measures 11 by 11 with the frame. So I just went in with my Waverly Antique Wax in a baby white. And I simply went around the border or frame of my little box here. And then on the inside, I went through and gave that a few coats of white chalk paint. Now, I am not the best painter. I definitely did not do a perfect job on my paint job. However, I've said it in my videos before, it's fine. It'll fit right in at my house. Everything in my home that I make is a little homemade, so it will fit right in. No worries there for me. So I went ahead and cut a piece of transfer tape to fit my design. Now, I do have a little bit of bubbling here at the bottom. I'm gonna see if I can lift this up a little and remedy it. If not, we're gonna have to kind of see what we can do. Okay, so that's not gonna really work. Okay, so I tried to fix that bubble. I honestly don't know exactly how this is gonna look. I kind of think I messed it up a little more than just leaving it. I don't know exactly. I probably should have just got it off of that liner and then kind of laid it down this way instead. But I don't know. We're gonna try to remedy it as best as we can, and then we'll see how it looks. I might have to recut this, but honestly, I don't know. This is like one of those designs. After I cut it once and weed it and kind of go through this whole thing, if for whatever reason this does not look great and I decide to take it off, honestly, I probably would not cut this again. I would probably move on and try something else. So from here, it doesn't look horrible, but let's try to lay it down and see. Okay, so bringing in my blank, I'm just gonna bring in my design here and then just try to center it as best as I can. Now, I did make this a little smaller just because I do like some intentional space around my design. However, I am gonna try to get it as centered as I can within my frame. I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and burnish this down. Again, I don't know exactly how this little egg here at the bottom is gonna look, but we'll find out in a second. And you guys also saw me cut another long piece of transfer tape. That is going to be for my next design. I'm definitely going to lay this back down on my liner. I will then just set this over to the side. I will continue to use this like over and over and over again. I'll just cut it up to fit designs as I go. So do not worry, this transfer tape will still go to use. Okay, so here is my design. Now, I mean, I don't know, it's definitely not perfect. There is definitely like some lines here. However, I think that I could probably put something in front of this to hide it. But it is a little rough towards the bottom of that first egg. However, I think that I could probably hide that, like if I put something, you know, like towards the bottom. But I think that this came out so, so pretty. I have to tell you guys, the color that this frame ended up coming out with this green is just so beautiful. They complement each other so beautifully. I absolutely love this design. I am a little bummed that I messed it up in there. However, I think that it's okay. Again, in the grand scheme of things. And if nothing else, I will just put another small like sign right in front of it and hide my mistake, right? Okay, guys, let's go ahead and move on. Okay, now bringing in my second blank. This is actually a floating shelf from Hobby Lobby. I get this when their wood pile is 40% off. Now, I wanted to show you guys, I didn't stain this all the way around because I wanted to show you. Now, this comes in the unfinished wood section, right? So when you see it on the shelf, it will literally kind of look like this. And to me, it kind of like, when I was first looking for these, I could never find them. And I was always like, I don't never see them, right? But I always saw them like already stained. So I was looking for something that looked more like this. However, when you're looking for these in Hobby Lobby, you're gonna look for something like this, right? It's unfinished. It is just gonna be a really, really bare wood. I gave this just one quick wipe with Waverly Antique Wax on a baby wipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that over to the side. This is a very, very large project. So I do have you guys zoomed out today. And hopefully I will be able to get the majority of this project on the screen. Now, I have done these floating shelves on my channel before. Now, the last one that I had, I told you guys that the last time I used it, I went ahead and used iron on that time just because when I stained that piece of wood, I stained it like really dark, and I was kind of wanting to like transition my home into a lighter wood. So last time I did that, I decided to go ahead and use, oops, let's trim this first. Let's see. Okay, sorry, that was not the smartest, but I trimmed it. So what was I saying? Oh, so my last time I decided to use HTV just because I knew that I wanted to get a new one of these floating shelves. And when I stained it, I wanted to do it just a little bit lighter. So I did go ahead and pack that one up because it was for Christmas, and I will link that video if you're interested. I absolutely loved the way that came out. So kind of running in that same direction. However, I'm not going to use HTV only because, you know, this is a large sign. I don't like to keep a lot of different like blanks and things in my home because I have spoken to it before. I don't have a lot of storage. So with that being said, anytime that I can kind of reuse things, especially like something this large, I definitely would rather just reuse it over and over than like have to buy them and store them for every season. So with that being said, I got this new one, the perfect shade that I was going for. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and design it for the first time here. Now, when this season is over, I will just carefully remove my little bunnies. And then sometimes I can get away with like staining it again, or sometimes not even having to stain it again. Sometimes I end up having to like paint it white at that point just because, you know, the stain doesn't really look as good once you take vinyl off. But you are able to reuse it. And if nothing else, if for whatever reason you mess up the front, you always can turn it around and use the back, depending on where you display this, of course. Now, I want to kind of explain a little before we get started. There is another part of this, and I'll show you guys in just a second. Now, my idea was to do like kind of a silhouette of a bunny, right? But I wanted to do each bunny in a different pattern vinyl. So that is easy enough, no problem. However, I kind of wanted the spacing on my bunnies. I like to do all of my spacing and stuff, or as much of it as I can in Design Space. Just because then it's like I know for sure, like computer checked that it is centered, they are evenly spaced, and I just think it's super, super helpful. So with that being said, I really wanted that help from Design Space to lay my bunnies down on my sign. So what I did was I just picked 3 bunnies that I liked in Design Space. I went in and just kind of sized them to my blank. I distributed them horizontally, got them all aligned perfectly, perfect, just like I like them. And then all I did was create an offset, right? So then I attached my offset layers together. So then that way it gives me kind of a blueprint or almost a stencil, if you will. And then my plan, hopefully, is that then I can just take my 3 different patterned vinyls, and from there, just simply lay them on top of the little bunny outlines. And that will help with my placement. Okay, so as I kind of get my little bunnies weeded, I just want to explain that just a little more, just in case someone doesn't understand. So as I laid this down, you guys saw all I had to worry about, right, was I was kind of trying to just get equal spacing, like from this bunny to the end and then this bunny to the end, and then kind of like up and down, right? So instead of having to like place each bunny individually and then from there have to worry about evenly spacing them outwards, right? I then have one piece that I know is already perfectly spaced, computer checked, great. And then there, all I had to do is just kind of try to center it on my block, right? So that is a great, great tip and a great hack. So with that being said, I'm just gonna bring in that same piece of transfer tape. I'm just gonna simply lay it over one of my bunnies. All of my bunnies are the same exact size. So I'm just gonna kind of cut this to fit one. And then I know from there that this one piece of transfer tape should fit all 3 of my little bunnies here. Okay, another great hack for this is these 3 pattern vinyls that I have here all came from a pack. They were all like a sampler of sorts. I don't remember like the company, or I think it was Cricut. Honestly, I don't remember, but oh, I can look right here. Yeah, it is Cricut. They're Cricut removable. So these were like a like pack that came together, so it makes it super easy to just kind of like pull them, and you know that they go perfectly together, and it just makes it so easy to get a nice cohesive look. So with that being said, I'm just going to simply come in with my little bunny. You could definitely bring in some parchment paper here. That would probably definitely help. I'm going to kind of wing it, but feel free. Now I did get a little rippling in the bottom of my bunny, so I think that my placement's gonna be a little off here, but I think that I can get this. Just go slow and really focus on what you're doing. Okay, so there's our first little bunny. So cute. I love it. Let's go ahead and get our second one laid down. Now I have like this huge ripple in my transfer tape right here, and it's kind of throwing it off. It's like kind of buckling right there. So in the name of my sanity, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut another piece. and hopefully that will help, but I think it will be okay. So just go ahead and burnish our second little bunny down here. And then let's see, should we put him on the left or the right? I think I'm gonna put him on the left. Okay, and there is our first little bunny, our technically second little bunny, but kind of first in the scheme of things, right? Now let's go in with our third bunny. Okay guys, and there is our third little bunny. Look how sweet that this came out. I have a little rippling in my second little bunny here. You guys can kind of see there. But other than that, it came out super, super cute. I love this. Now, I am not completely done with this. I am going to add just a little bit more. I think that it could stand just a little something extra. However, let me tell you, this video has taken a lot longer than I expected. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up one last craft for tonight, and then I think we're going to call it a night. Okay guys, so really quickly, I'm gonna do one last little craft tonight before I go to bed. It's currently like 2 o'clock in the morning and I am so tired, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. However, I do wanna do one last little thing so that way it has time to sit. So hopefully when I come into my craft room tomorrow, I can kind of sit down and finish this up. So I have these little wood cutouts. These are from Dollar Tree. They, you know, just come out every season for just different little things. So these are just the sweetest little Easter bunnies. And I thought that it would be really, really cute to add some paper to this. And I had a really, really cute idea for these. Now, you guys might remember that I used a part of this card here for a jewelry box that I made for my daughter. I told you guys in that video that I would absolutely be using the other part of this card. There was absolutely no way I was going to let this beautiful, beautiful pattern go to waste. So as soon as I saw this little Easter bunny, I knew that I wanted to use the rest of this little card for him. And I have a really, really sweet idea, and I hope it comes out just as cute as I'm thinking. So I'm just gonna bring in my little cup here. I'm gonna set it on top of my bunny just to put something heavy on top of it. I wanted to mention too, you guys saw me make this over in a video pretty recently. I went back and looked. I posted that video on February 25th. So I made this cup on February 24th, and I just wanted to give you guys an update. It is going strong. I have not put this in the dishwasher yet. However, I have hand washed it numerous times, and it has been holding up just perfectly. So I just had that handy. I am drinking out of it as I craft tonight. So I just grabbed that to put on top of my little bunny there to weigh it down. But I figured, well, let me give you guys an update on the vinyl, right? So maybe we can do like a weekly update of my cup to let you know how my vinyl is doing. And, you know, honestly, it'll kind of help me like stay accountable, because I am definitely like one of those girlies that You know, I just love a good cup. Every cup that I see is like the cup, right? It's going to answer all of my problems. So with that being said, I am just always kind of on the lookout for a new cup. So maybe that will help me also kind of stay in this cup a little longer than usual, right? So I have decided to just use my Barely Art Glue. I use that to not only attach my paper to what is going to be my top bunny, but I'm also using that to attach 3 additional bunnies together. So what this is going to do is it's just going to give me a super thick bunny now. So what essentially went from, you know, like one super thin bunny, right? I think either 8 or 10 of these came in a pack. So, you know, they are just very, very thin cutouts. I'm sure we're all pretty familiar with the Dollar Tree cutouts at this point. So, you know, taking that from this, which is just one layer, to this, which will eventually have even one more layer on top of it, really just gives it such a nice substantial look. So with that being said, I think that I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I'm not sure how long this video will end up being. I will probably fast forward through a lot of the weeding in the first project, but that weeding took me a very, very long time tonight. I absolutely enjoyed every minute of it. I needed it so, so much. So I am so, so thankful to have had this time tonight with you guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and for watching. Thank you to all of my subscribers for supporting my channel. And if you have not subscribed, I ask that you please consider. I would love to have you. All right, guys, that's all I have time for, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.